Parliament has approved by consensus the nomination of Gifty Twum-Ampofo as Deputy Education Minister after the minority withdrew its objection to her appointment. The House also approved 11 other deputy ministers, including Marco Krekumante as the Deputy Tourism and Creative Arts Minister. The minority had objected to the approval of Madam Ampofo over her alleged defense of vote buying. We have on Zoom our parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gapo for more. So what is it that got the minority to now approve Gifty Twum?
Israel, let me tell you how we know. We gather that sometime today, Madam Ampofo Twum, in the company of some leading NPP officials here in Parliament, specifically the majority side, did walk into a conversation at the level of the minority MPs to actually explain herself to them and encourage them to forgive her over her stance over this specific allegation having to do with corruption. You recall that the specific incident had to do with a case in which she allegedly gave out 1,500 CDs plus flat screen televisions to some delegates in the NPP primaries. And when she appeared before the Appointments Committee of Parliament, she defended that position and allegedly subsequently engaged in some verbal exchanges with one of the MPs on the minority side, specifically Hassan Suhini. So we gather that she'd actually been in a conversation with the minority MPs and solicited their support and kind of pleaded with them to support her candidature for the position. And following that, the minority MPs decided that they were going to back her approval, and the reports of the appointment committee was amended to say that they are supporting her nomination by consensus, and eventually that was approved on the floor of Parliament around 6:30 p.m. this evening.
Right, and so we're also learning that the rest of them, all the other deputy ministers who were vetted, have also been approved.
So all of them except 4 of them. So you would recall that there was the approval that was given for about 12 of them sometime last week. Another batch of 12 was approved, out of which a list of 3 was actually set aside because then the minority MPs had other concerns. And so today as well, another batch have been approved. And so in total, we have about 36 of them, with 35 of them being deputy ministers and 1 of them being a minister of state being approved. But approval has still been withheld for 4 of them. Let me run you through the list of that 4 and tell you the reason in a while. And the 4 actually include the Deputy Attorney General Designate, Madam Asunaba Dapa Dina, as well as Lariba Zuera Abdul, the Deputy Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Martin Ejemen Sakosa, who is the Deputy Minister Designate for Local Government and Rural Development, and then Amidu Ishiaku Tiana, who is Deputy Minister Designate for Sanitation and Water Resources. And the concern of the minority MPs are that they were not present when they were vetted because they were planting trees in their constituencies. There's been the hint that the minority would want to push this to the brink and insist that they would want to see a revetting of those 4 before the possible approval. But the report in question has been laid in Parliament for approval today. We're waiting for a debate on it tomorrow. We wait to hear what the minority MPs would say when the time comes for the approval to be done. As to whether they would insist on that, a revetting, or one way or the other, some consensus may be reached in order to allow for the approval.
But has it ever happened before, a revetting?
No, none that I can readily recall. What we've seen unfold has to do with a situation where in the recent vetting, for example, the Deputy Minister Designate for the Foreign Affairs Ministry, after the vetting had ended, a lot of the minority MPs walked in and insisted that there wasn't quorum and they were not present. And so after he had been discharged by the committee, minutes later he was called back, and the vetting process, the earlier one lasted for like 17 minutes, the subsequent one lasted for like an hour. That's the closest to a revetting that we've seen. But this may probably be the first of it that we'll see, particularly with these deputy.
Yeah, that's if it happens.
That's if it happens. And we'll know more tomorrow because, interesting enough, the committee report makes the point that the approval for these individuals is actually being done again by consensus. And again, it goes back to the point that the committee would usually vote after they have vetted the individuals on the same day, and a lot of the minority MPs were not present then. But we understand a lot of engagements are ongoing at the leadership level on how it happened to these for tomorrow, when eventually the House has to take that particular report.
All right, thank you very much, Parliamentary Correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo.